First and all new at 6. It's a nationwide problem, but Arizona stands out.
Maricopa County has some of the most extreme DCS racial disparities in the nation. Tonight, Zach Crenshaw continues digging deeper into the system and what can be done to fix it.
Last month, we introduced you to the Ranger family, the Phoenix parents calling their experience with the Arizona Department of Child Safety a nightmare. They were investigated for months and almost had their daughter Queen taken. But in the end, their case was dismissed. Tonight, we are looking deeper at the data and the solutions to address these long-standing disparities.
Y'all go home, okay?
Talk to you guys later.
When Arizona DCS caseworkers show up to investigate parents or remove their child, black families are disproportionately on the other side of the door.
It's awful. As a mother, I've never experienced such pain. It's like dealing with a death.
It seems to me that lately, it's an overzealousness of dealing with African American families.
We estimate 63% of Black children between birth and age 18 will be investigated in Maricopa.
Dr. Frank Edwards is a professor at Rutgers and one of the authors of this study, which examined child protective services in the 20 most populous U.S. counties from 2014 to 2018.
We see Black children, again, have some of the highest levels of removal from their families and placement into foster care in Maricopa County.
DCS Director Mike Faust knows his agency needs to get better at understanding and addressing these glaring racial discrepancies.
Personally, I spend 15 to 20% of my time specifically on this.
But Director Faust also tries to deflect some blame for these disparities.
The organization was in a really bad place in 2015, and so to see the 25% reduction in foster care that we've seen directly positively benefited African American children as it did white children, Hispanic children, Native American children.
He also points out the fact that DCS does not control who is reported to the hotline, which is disproportionately African American.
Why are children being reported to us at rates 3.5 times greater?
It's absolutely correct that the child welfare system does not control the front door, but they do control the foster care decision. They do control the investigation substantiation decision.
Data from 2021 shows Black kids in Arizona are at least 4 times more likely to end up in foster care compared to white and Hispanic children.
In a state where we are data-driven, this data doesn't seem to drive action.
Matthew Stewart worked at DCS for 10 years.
This does frustrate me.
He left in 2020 and now advocates for parents fighting to keep their kids.
I want every single African American case that is open within the state of Arizona where children have been removed to be reviewed.
That is unlikely to happen, but Stewart does meet with Director Faust regularly to talk about cases that the community's brought to his attention. Meanwhile, inside the department,
we're talking about cultural humility training, cultural empathy training.
Professor Edwards, though, says it's going to take a lot more than just training.
Child welfare agencies are poorly equipped to deal with the broad problems of child poverty.
And Edwards believes it's that lower income and the lack of cultural understanding that's labeled neglect and the catalyst for investigations into Black families. In 2019, 91% of the time Arizona kids entered foster care, it was for neglect or other. Just 9% was abuse.
We need to think of it in a broad systemic way rather than as a problem one agency can deal with.
What would you say to the governor about why this matters?
Are we comfortable with 3/5 of Black children in a state or in a county experiencing a relatively extreme event? That is a child welfare system investigation, right?
At the end of the day, the stated DCS goal is reunification.
We want to keep families intact.
But for the Black families being investigated, that feels like lip service. And the question Governor Ducey and other state leaders must answer:
why are we all angry that Black children are being removed from their homes at much higher rate?
Zach Crenshaw, ABC 15, Arizona.
If you want to eat healthy and